When you get into this platinum trophy hunting game, oftentimes you want to platinum the franchise. I recently did a video showing every Mortal Kombat platinum trophy in my collection, and Spider-Man being one of my favorite comic book characters, I had to platinum all the Spider-Man games available. I've been playing Spider-Man games almost since the beginning. I didn't get into the Atari stuff, and I may not have even done the NES Spider-Man. But Spider-Man Maximum Carnage and Separation Anxiety for Super Nintendo were my shit. I love those games. I remember when PlayStation came out and then they had the Spider-Man 1 game. That was mind-blowing, a 3D Spider-Man swinging around the city, although I don't think you could touch the ground, and it was pretty linear. It wouldn't be until the Spider-Man 2 movie-related game came out that we finally got an open-world Spider-Man where you could swing around New York City, you can go to the ground and defeat enemies, and then they would eventually make the Spider-Man 3 game and a slew of other games. Web of Shadows, classic PS3 game. But we wouldn't get into the trophies until Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions. So that is actually my first Spider-Man Platinum Trophy. And what's so great about this game, it's the first time you got to play as one of my other favorite characters, Spider-Man 2099, but it was also not an open-world Spider-Man game. Like, after so many open-world games, you had this game that was based on levels, and you had these stages, and you would pick one of the 4 different Spideys, your classic Red and Blue, your Symbiote, your Spider-Man Noir, and Miguel O'Hara as well. I platinumed this game back in February of 2011. Only 1.6% of the players have earned this one. And I don't really recall anything that was difficult about obtaining the platinum. You had to beat it on easy, normal, and hard. It looks like they did stack. I beat it on normal first, and then I also got the easy one, and then I went back and beat it on hard, probably with all of the upgrades. It's been a long time, obviously, since I played this game. You got trophies for beating certain acts, defeating certain villains. So you can see here, Deadpool. That was a good one. And you can see by the trophy, like, which character you were to obtain that. Red and Blue, Symbiote, 2099, Noir. Let's take a quick look and see. What was the difficult one? Completing the Web of Destiny looked daunting. Unlock all character upgrades. And everything else is pretty straightforward. Complete 4 levels with the highest rank on hard mode. The follow-up to Shattered Dimensions would be Spider-Man Edge of Time. And this time they said, you know what? People loved Miguel. People loved Peter. Let's just make this game about Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2099. I didn't like it as much as I did Shattered Dimensions, but it was still a good Spider-Man game at the time. It's the best graphics that you can have, swinging around, playing in the future as Miguel. 2.2% of the players unlocked this trophy. Similar requirements, you had to complete Act 1, 2, and 3, complete all the chapters on normal and hard, and again, it looks like that didn't stack. Defeat Anti-Venom. I think this was the first game Anti-Venom was in. You had to, get trophies for certain bosses that you defeated. It looks like these web challenges were some of the platinum stoppers with just 2.5 and 2.8%. Obtain all gold medals for an act. Obtain all gold medals, period. Obtain half of the golden spiders, all of the golden spiders. So I guess that was more of a collectible-based trophy. By all character upgrades. Your typical stuff, nothing too crazy, nothing multiplayer, but I did enjoy Spider-Man Edge of Time. And then we would get back to the movie-based Spider-Man games with the first Amazing Spider-Man adaptation. This would be the Andrew Garfield adaptation. You can see with that unique costume that he has. Only 1.5% of the players completed this one. And it's kind of the same trophy list for all these type of open world Spider-Man games. You have to beat the main story. You have to beat it on different difficulties in some cases. You have to find all the collectibles. This one, Collect All the Magazines, was actually floating comic books in the air. And when you captured them, you had the whole comic book that you can read in the video game. I thought that was super cool. I platinumed this one back in 2012. So I think this might have been right around the time I got back into going to the comic book shop and reading comic books. And I remember specifically like ASM 6, First Appearance of Lizard, is one of those floating comic books that you can grab and you'll be able to read it. Defeat 100 enemies by performing stealth takedowns. This was the next gen Spider-Man game at the time based on that first set of movies. And of course the movie sequel came and so did the video game. So here we go, The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Only 1.1% of the players got this one. I got it back 10 years ago in 2014. This game, the thing I recall about both of these games were the abundance of suits. Actually, every Spider-Man game has been pretty good about having different suits in Spider-Man's closet that you can change into. Now, if I recall, I feel like the Amazing Spider-Man 1 game, and maybe even this one, had Stan Lee as the comic shop owner, where you would go into the shop and it would be kind of like your item shop or what have you. Photo challenges, of course, there's collectibles, there's certain in-game things you need to do, like disarm 50 enemies, certain bosses. Cletus Cassidy is here, Kingpin, Green Goblin. So nothing really too difficult. Defeat a certain amount of enemies, save a certain amount of citizens, reach maximum level for all suits, and it looks like that's where a lot of people kind of gave up on the Platinum Trophy. But I really did like these games, especially coming up with the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man game adaptations. Here's the next generation with the Andrew Garfield Spidey. Now, I like this game so much, I platinumed it twice. This did not pop with like a double pop kind of thing. I owned the game on PS3, as you can see before. And then my daughter was playing this on PS4 one day, and I just picked up the controller and just started finishing the Platinum Trophy on it. So the same list of trophies, I just played through the game twice on 2 different systems to earn the Platinum twice. As you can see, I did this one 2 years later in 2017. We had recently moved from Florida to Texas, and it was something that I just did to pass the time when we were fresh, new in our new home in Texas. It's funny to think that those were next gen at the time, because here we go with Marvel's Spider-Man for the PS4, another next gen Spidey, and this one was really special. So Be Greater is the Platinum Trophy. A lot more people platinuming with these newer Spider-Man games, 8.4%. This was great, man. I remember when they showed the teaser stuff on the stealth takedowns. I think it was like an E3 trailer or so. Super hyped for this game. It came, it delivered, it brought in a new villain with Mr. Lee, Mr. Negative, and then he had all of his goons running around the city that you would defeat. They had Taskmaster challenges here, drone challenges. You had to complete Acts 1 through 3, you had 15 upgrades. Here goes Martin Lee, here goes Wilson Fisk, Electro and Vulture, Scorpion and Rhino, Shocker and Tombstone. Traverse across the city rooftops. There were a lot of fun trophies packed into this game here. You had a perfect dodge, 10 attacks, complete 10 vehicle takedowns. It looks like completing all districts at 100% was kind of the platinum stopper here. I mean, 15% of the players earned it, but not all of them did enough to get that Platinum Trophy. Great game, and it would be followed up by Spider-Man Miles Morales for the PS5, but that's not the next Spider-Man game that I played. I actually jumped on to the follow-up to that, Marvel's Spider-Man 2, where you played as both Peter Parker and Miles Morales. Loved the symbiote story. It had a lot of Donny Cates, Venom, King in Black influences. A lot of great upgrades that you can get. You can play as a Venomized version of Peter Parker. They did change a little bit of the story aspects for this game, which I kind of appreciated. As somebody who already has read these stories, it was cool to get some twists and turns. Spoiler alert, you can play as Anti-Venom, but it's a Peter Parker version of it. Super cool. It had like Grand Theft Auto 5 elements where you can kind of take where you are with Peter and go to wherever Miles is in the city, and if they were in the same proximity, they would fight together. This is the most recent Spider-Man game. I had a blast. Some people didn't like the story mode changes, but again, it was cool to get a twist on a story or certain stories that I already knew. Another game like all Spidey games that has an abundance of suits, going through New York City, a more expanded version from what we got in the first game and from the Spider-Man Miles Morales game, which is the game in between those. After I platinumed Spider-Man 2, I was kind of back on a Platinum Trophy hunting bug, and I had the Miles Morales game just chilling, so I figured, you know what, let's pop it in, let's get that Platinum Trophy. Actually, we have some video clips from getting these Platinums, so here we go. I have one of the Miles Morales animated series suits. That's the Platinum Trophy right there. Actually, do I have on Spider-Man 2 as well? Oh, yes, I think I'm playing as Anti-Venom. Yeah, see, here we go. Yeah, man, I forget what the last trophy was here. I think I had to kill a certain amount of enemies. There he is fighting with Miles Morales. Again, crazy different costume skins. And they've actually added more costume skins since I've platinumed this game. As you can see, they've got a bunch of DLC content here. So for me, Spider-Man games are kind of like Mortal Kombat games. Anytime a new one comes out, I'm going to go ahead and get that platinum. I'm working on a couple different franchises. I don't think I have any others complete, except for games that only had a few titles like Infamous or something along those lines. But I do have a couple that I'm working on. I may make a video letting you know which franchises I plan to platinum every game, kind of like I did with Final Fantasy. Thanks for watching, you guys. Stay minty fresh. Peace.